Hi guys, so I have here a Feder from Reginier, not directly from Reginier, this is from a person from the club, and their sword has rusted, particularly on the pommel, and what I'm going to do is try and remove as much rust as possible anywhere I can and bring it back to life basically. Now, when it comes to rust with swords, I mean, it's how any metal kind of rusts: damp, cold environment, somewhere that has moisture where the metal is exposed to oxygen, and that can happen quite quickly when there's moisture in the air. It's almost like a magnifier for rust. So, what I'm going to do is do a bit of polishing, and then I'm going to skip forward to the end result and do like a comparison, something like that, just to show you where I've got to. And yeah, so when it comes to rust with the pommel, I would say the only thing to worry about is the integrity of the peen on top. If that rusts too much, then the peen could flake, it could come off, you know, it could crack, and as soon as that peen is off, that means the pommel can come off. And well, in you know, you need that pommel. It's a fixation for the sword in itself almost. Yeah, and you've then lost your sword basically. I mean, there's not too much damage on this, on the grip. You with any grip, you're going to have cuts and stuff like that, little fraying bits. I might glue that down just to make sure it's not going to get worse. But generally speaking, Reginier have pretty decent cord that they use for their Feders, even the standard ones, and can take quite a beating. I'll fix the fraying on that. It's not too much of an issue, but really the big one is this pommel and getting as much rust off as I can. It's starting to pit already, so you don't want that. It's just not going to look nice, and I'll tell you what, if you haven't got your tetanus jab, then gosh, that's not good. So yeah, and then on the blade there's a bit of surface rust that I can get rid of quite easily. I've done that before on other Reginier Feders, and it's quite easy to do. So what tools am I using? I've got a drill here, and I've got polish. Hopefully this is enough. I'm starting to run out of this. I've got a little tiny file. If there's any burrs, I might just get rid of the burrs with my little tiny file. I have all kinds of polishing nibs and things and all that kind of stuff in different sort of ones that are quite soft, ones are quite coarse. So just to get rid of rust in general. You can get these on Amazon fairly cheaply. I think this was 20 quid for a massive set of quite large wheels that you can attach to your drill. It comes with a little bit of polish, but I've never really used it. And then I've got a whole bunch of rags here. I've got ones that are relatively dirty that I don't really care about initially, and then I've got some clean ones when try and get things nice and shiny basically. So I'll do a little bit now, and then I'm going to skip forward to the end result. Okay, I'll close that. I'm going to actually use one of these, so I'll use this nice little rough one here and just attach this to my drill, and let's put this down here. I'm just going to see if I can remove a little bit of rust on the top here. Tell you what, I'll do the whole pommel in general and see if I can. You don't need much of this polish, by the way. You only need a little bit. You don't need to absolutely lather the whole thing in it, but you need enough to make an effect. Just going around the pommel here with my finger, and obviously wash your hands once you've done this, because you don't want metal polish. Oof. You can feel how rough the rust is, and honestly you should never really allow your sword to become like this, but it happens. So, ooh, I can't even, it's so rusty that I can't even polish it with this. I'm going to have to do this instead, which is not going to do much. I'm going to actually have to use the drill. That's not good. Okay, add a little bit more, and then I'm going to use the drill to see if I can remove as much as I can. You can use sandpaper if it's this bad. Make sure you use a really fine grit. This does the same sort of job. Is that fixed on properly? It's not fixed on properly. I'll just make sure. I want to make sure that your drill is charged up and ready to go as well. I think, yeah, I've got enough charge on this. And yeah, you could just apply pressure and drill away, you know. Bear in mind, it does take a bit of time, so you just have to be a bit patient with this. Okay. I don't know if this is actually going to come on camera. If it does, that's great, but I have a little tiny shiny spot there, right here, and that's where I've just been drilling. So it's turned from like a red, dark rusty red, and the metal is starting to shine through there. So that's good. And what I'm going to do is go over the whole pommel. I'm going to do the whole thing with this drill. I'm going to go throughout the entire blade, applying quite a bit of pressure just to remove as much as I can, also the crossguard, and I'll cut to when this is finished. So I shall see you in a bit.
The next day.
Well, it didn't exactly take a day, but I had a working day yesterday, so I was working for most of the day yesterday, and I got most of this done in my lunch break and in later in the evening. So it really took me probably about 2 hours of good deep cleaning, and it's all done. I'm fairly happy with the result. There is some permanent damage on the, I would say damage, is pitting on the pommel and some areas of the shield, but to be fair, I can now see my face in this pommel, and you could probably see myself in the camera when I'm doing like a little video of this. I'm not really sure how to get rid of the pitting exactly. I probably have to do a deeper scrub, but all in all, the rust is gone, which is good. That's the main thing, and now it's nice and shiny. So how did I do this in the end? I actually had to use sandpaper. Not just that small buffing wheel that I was using. So I used P60 sandpaper on the drill, and then I used P1000 sandpaper. I then used quite a coarse buffing wheel, and then I used this, it's almost like felt. Yeah, it's almost like felt, like a buffing wheel. These two are really used for car wheels, to be honest, but or for cars, but it's perfectly good for the maintenance of Federschwerts and other swords you use for HEMA. So yeah, all in all, it's actually quite a nice Feder. I did weigh it, it was 1,520 grams, or around that sort of area. So it's fairly light, but fairly blade present. You're going to be quite strong in the bind with this particular Feder. I'm pretty sure this is just a standard Reginier, and they're like the workhorse, proven to be very reliable Feder. So if you are looking for your first Federschwert, go for this, to be honest, and it's going to last you years and years and years, as long as you don't let it rust. So okay, I shall leave it there. If you have any questions, I can just comment below and I can give you any advice I can. But yeah, all in all, fairly decent job. Again, there's a little bit of damage with pitting, only because this has been left to rust or had no maintenance at all on it. So it was good to get rid of that, and now I feel better. I also got rid of the damage and the fraying on the handle, so yeah, just by gluing it down with some super glue, that usually does the job. Okay, so I shall leave it there, and I hope you have a good day, and I shall see you guys on the next one. Cheers, folks.